I am like a spider, dropped into an unknown environment, running over every surface I can find, articulating my 8 legs every which way to understand where I am. Are spiders as terrified as me? Do they feel as foreign, as blind, as stuck in a fog? I study because as I learn and form beliefs, I make my web, I make my home a place to be. The web may rupture often, yet it changes with me, a record of my life and progress. The shape of the web is less important than the fact that I have one. Without my web, I am eternally falling, unaware of even the previous moment. With my web, I have a base, a place to start from, a reference point upon which to explore and uncover whoever or whatever this place is. Have you ever caught a spider and released it into the wild? Have you noticed any creature more frantic, with a greater sense of panic, or more scared? Or have you seen a skittish dog? Have you seen a dog on the 4th of July, looking frantically for a corner or a table to hide under? Any nook, any cranny? Or a shelter dog, trying to understand what this human-shaped creature is, looking at it from the other side of a cage? Have you seen the fear in its eyes, the betrayal, the confusion, the suffering? This innocent being thrown into confusion, thrown into the extremes of unknown. What a frightening place to be. So that's some of what I've been writing about uncertainty and these metaphors that I'm finding to try to make sense of what I feel or communicate what I feel and have felt my whole life. And I saw a YouTube video yesterday of somebody talking about uncertainty as a shortcut, basically. And it resonated with me, so I figured I would make a video about it. Yeah, I've been really struck by the confidence that some people have in their own beliefs and their own sense of self, and how sure they are of their beliefs. It feels like such a foreign place to be for me. Because every belief that I have, I'm just uncertain of the truth of it. I mean, there's always a way in which I could be proven wrong. And it's a frustrating place to be. It's a very confusing place to be. Because you live in a world of people who are sure of their beliefs. And they will try to convince you of them. They will try to, maybe not intentionally, but they will manipulate you to adopt their beliefs and their conceptions of the world. It's interesting that we have this tendency to do that, even without knowing it, right? We're trying to herd people into our own system of beliefs, even if we're not trying to proselytize or to preach. But I think at our core, we want people to be more like us, because we have this unexamined feeling that what we believe is right and that it's true. and this is I think it's a dangerous trait, a dangerous flaw of our character to leave this untouched or not worked on. I don't know what the word is I'm trying to think of. But I see these people and I ask them questions because I'm so curious about. It's not even the answer. I asked a coworker the question, a couple of coworkers the question about, like, would you rather be the Buddha and have never suffered? Would you rather be the Buddha and never suffer again? Or would you rather be someone who's never meditated before and will, all of your suffering or joy will be completely the product of whatever happens to you, right? And the coworker said they would not want to be the Buddha, which was interesting. They thought it was like almost a form of escapism, to be a monk, kind of. It's not even the answer of that I was more curious about the confidence of that belief. Like, what has to happen in your life to allow you to be so confident in saying that and not question? Like, if someone asked me that question, I might say, maybe I think I'd probably want to be the Buddha because you have more control over your suffering and you're almost more engaged. You're almost facing suffering more. But there's also something to be said about learning from suffering, and maybe there is some amount of meditation that it serves to be escapism. I don't know the answer to these questions, and I'm so I'm almost jealous of the people that have, or that think they have answers, that truly believe that they have the answer, because it gives them such a sense of stability in their life. And without stability, it's hard to ever feel fulfilled, really. You just live in this perpetual state of confusion about everything. And this is something I feel like epistemologically, but also socially too. It's not just matters of knowledge that leave me confused. It's also in social situations. Like, people are so sure of who they are inside that they're able to move through the world with an unshaken sense of self, right? There's some level of assertiveness and confidence that you will have if you just know who you are and you are unashamed, unafraid to express that. But I don't know who I am, because everything about me has changed. Everything about me is always changing, and so I just feel like the Heraclitus, what's it called? An aphorism? I don't know, where he says that you never step in the same river twice. That's what my sense of self feels like. Like, I'm just always changing, and it's hard to grasp onto what actually makes me myself. And the only thing that I've come to is just like this really deep sense of goofiness, which may not really show through the camera, through this channel. But that's who I feel I am. At least as a child, that's who I felt I was. And now there's the sense of self that I have it's much more multifaceted now, as I've aged and matured, and there's just, there's more to me, but that feels like the core is this sense of goofiness, and that's kind of that's where I've landed. That's what I'm clinging on to, I guess. The Buddha wouldn't be happy about that, but I'm just following that, and it seems to work, and I guess it seems to give me more confidence in my conception of myself. But even that, right? This feeling of this like inner child feeling, right? That is so obviously, that rests upon, I think, such rests upon beliefs or intuitions about the self, which I think are illusions. Like, because there's another part of me which doesn't think the self really exists at all. It's an illusion, right? That it's just a pattern of emotions that recur, thoughts and emotions and feelings that are just recurring, and you can pierce through that, right? It's not a continuous experience, right? Which means it can't be me. So anyway, I just feel confused all the time, and about everything, about who I am, about what I know, what I believe, and I don't know if there's really a solution to this other than embracing the confusion. And there's some reading I want to do about this. I know there's a philosopher, I think, what's his name? Hold on. It is... Oh, it is Heidegger. Okay, yeah, it's Heidegger. And the concept of being thrown. I've just have vaguely heard of this, and I want to look more into it, but I'm sure there's plenty of philosophers who have talked about this, and I just don't know who they are because I'm still stuck in year 1 of the St. John's reading list, so I'm reading The Republic right now. But anyway, this is what have been thinking about, kind of how I'm feeling about uncertainty and living with it. And I really do think it's a virtuous thing to be able to live with uncertainty. And it's something that I'm growing, that I'm really starting to respect in people when I notice it. Being okay with not having answers to things, or if you don't have an answer to something, rather than clutching onto whichever answer appears first or appears most convenient, to actually search out answers at the very least, and adopt an air of skepticism at answers that come your way. I really do respect that when I see it. I don't know what that means, but I think it's a dangerous thing to be certain of everything and to want answers. That's what this video was about yesterday. Okay, so I kind of forgot what it was even about, but it was about like self-help, or like the how self-help videos have turned philosophy into like a quick fix, or trying to provide answers very quickly to solve problems. But this is I agreed with the video. I forgot the name of it. Maybe I'll put it in the description. But I think philosophy is much more potent when you allow it to sever you from answers and to plunge you into a sea of uncertainty and a sea of curiosity.